Sometimes it's all about quality and not necessarily quantity, because this week we're going to take a look at just 3 events that happened this past weekend, but we still have everything from a fantastic women's MMA double debut bout to my personal favorite, a vicious head kick KO, and some submissions that make the human body bend in some very unnatural ways. And these are always, of course, thanks to Caposa, who helps us compile these lists, and if these videos aren't enough for you, go give him a follow on Twitter at Grabaka_Hitman for more highlights like these every single day. What's going on, everyone? It's the casual Lawton Veerkant, and this is Caposa's Corner. Kicking us off this week, we're going to RS Fighting Championship 3 in Paris, where we have 3 fights to show you. For the first, we have a main event welterweight title bout between Abdul Gimov with a 13-1 record, and he's taking on UFC vet Alfredo Pepe, who has a 14-6 record and was active in the UFC from 2012 to 2018. So, to start us off, we are just a minute and a half in, and Pepe lands this omoplata that Abdul escapes almost instantly, and then just a few seconds later, we find him upside down, taking the back, setting himself up perfectly for this.
Position, really hard to get out.
Inverted triangle armbar. Inverted triangle armbar.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't think there was any escaping that. Abdul looks like he's scrambling after escaping that omoplata, but it turns out he had a game plan all along, as he first lands the inverted triangle, and then once he isolates that arm for the armbar, Pepe has no choice but to tap. This is a huge win for Abdul, as he now has a 14-1 record and just defeated a UFC veteran, so there's no way we don't see him on a big stage here soon. But congratulations on this amazing win, and everyone welcome the new RSFC welterweight champion. For our second fight, we have another welterweight matchup that sees Telshayev showing a 9-2 record, and his opponent, Juan Manuel Suarez, has a 25-9 record. And he has fought elsewhere, including Cage Warriors and M1 Global. Now, that doesn't really seem like a fair matchup, but hey, they didn't ask me. So, round 1 starts, and we are just 45 seconds in, and who's your money on?
Lock your body to theirs.
Okay, hang on. Telshayev goes for this Superman punch and gets immediately met with a huge overhand right that doesn't even seem to faze him, or he sure as hell doesn't act like it. And then he counters with a huge left hook, and it is just lights out for Suarez. Telshayev pulls this win off despite having 3 times less experience in the cage, and he improves his record to 10-2 and gets this great highlight as proof. On to our third and final fight at RSFC, we have a flyweight matchup that sees Marmuset representing the red corner, and she's taking on Alexandra Tekana representing the blue corner. However, Alexandra is a French national wushu sanda champion, so combat sports isn't exactly new to her. So, we're nearing the halfway mark of the first round, and both ladies are pretty much on all offense and no defense until Alexandra drops Iris, who almost immediately recovers and gets back to the feet, but Alexandra has more where that came from.
Now an elbow.
Elbows reversed.
Tekana is
Hard.
badass.
Oh!
Holy right elbow, followed by 3 unanswered hooks, and then a right to left combo for the finish, and Iris collapses to the canvas, and this fight is over. Talk about making a statement for your MMA debut. Alexandra secures her first pro win and does it in spectacular fashion in just 3 minutes of the fight. Now we're gonna go visit our friends at Fighting Alliance Championship 12 in Missouri, where we have, holy shit, 5 fights to show you. There must have been something going on at this event, but oh wait, that makes more sense. Dana White and the Looking for a Fight crew were in attendance. So, to start us off, we have a lightweight amateur bout that has Devin Dunn with a 2-0 record, and his opponent, Jacob Weeks, who also has a 2-0 record. So, we are just 2 minutes into this fight when Weeks lands a nice takedown, and here's your cringe alert. I mentioned in the intro an unnatural bend, and yeah, you're about to see
that
it.
a lot in the amateur ranks. Oh, Dunn locking up a little triangle here.
With the arm bar. Look at the arm right there.
He's switching to the arm bar. He's switching to the arm bar. That's tight.
Transition.
Fuck this.
Oh dear lord, that hurts to watch. While on the bottom, Dunn lands this armbar, and as soon as Weeks tries to stand up, well, that's when his elbow very clearly hyperextends. I mean, look at this angle. I cannot believe Weeks let it bend that much before tapping. But what a win for Dunn as he lands this first round win, improving his record to 3-0. Next, we have a featherweight matchup between David Evans, who has a clean 4-0 record and actually competed in the IMAF World Championships back in 2015, 16, and 17. So yeah, he's another one like Alexandra earlier that's definitely not new to combat sports. And he's up against Gage Young, who only has a 3-0 MMA record. We have stayed true to our first round finishes this week, and just a minute and a half into this one, well, it is no different.
Stance out of the orthodox stance.
A perfect overhand right, followed by some nasty ground hooks, and the ref jumps in and stops this fight. I definitely was not assuming Young would win this fight, given Evans' prior experience with IMAF, but what a first round finish that puts him at 4-0, and he definitely is showing signs of having a very promising future in MMA. For our next fight at Fighting Alliance Championship 12, we have a middleweight bout that sees Joel Bauman with a 4-1 record, and his opponent, Josh Fremd, has an 8-2 record, and he was actually featured on Caposa's corner last year, where he unfortunately lost. So, both fighters used to fight in LFA, and we know Dana and the UFC love fighters that have been there, and this fight is actually our first to make it to round 2, and check this out.
Finish this? Yeah, absolutely.
Big right hand lands.
Straight right hand. Looking for the takedown. Right into the rear naked choke.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you that straight right into tossing him around like a rag doll one more time, but we are not finished just yet.
It's pretty hard to finish this unless it's completely set in. He's doing a good job of fighting hands.
He's stopping. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Fremd is a wrestler, so not only does he crack Bauman and put this huge slam on him, but then he proceeds to lock in this rear naked choke and ultimately get the tap to win this fight. Fremd might not have had much luck on the show last year, but this year he did, and it paid off greatly because after seeing this performance, he was in fact offered a UFC contract by the man himself. It is everyone's favorite time, Caposa's KO of the week. Here we have a bantamweight fight that has Eduardo Dauntis with a 22-7 record, and if you recognize that name, it's because he's the former Bellator bantamweight champion, and he's up against Jose Alday, who has a 14-6-1 record, and he competed on the Contender Series last year. So we have our second fight that makes it to the second round, and if you notice, Eduardo just keeps hammering him with these low kicks. I wonder if that's on purpose. And with just 45 seconds left on the clock, we witness pure beauty. Turns out, those low kicks were 100% on purpose because they were setting him up for this perfect single high kick that Caposa said is one of the nastiest head kick KOs in recent memory. I mean, it really just doesn't get much cleaner than that as he makes direct contact and just absolutely collapses Alday. Eduardo improves his record to 23-7, and I sure hope we keep seeing more from him this year. So we have one more fight at FAC 12, and it is the featherweight main event title fight that has Isaac Dulgarian with a pristine 4-0 record, and his opponent, TJ Britton, has a 7-2 record and actually fought in both LFA and Bellator in years past. Needless to say, this one didn't last very long, barely over a minute to be exact, and almost the whole fight is Isaac on top just waiting for the finish, and as soon as TJ sees an opening to get up, well, Isaac has a little surprise for him.
Time again.
Good job on TJ. Strike from Dulgarian right hand.
Starts off.
Yeah, about 4 unanswered huge right hooks that just bounce his head off the canvas, and the ref finally steps in and has seen enough. Caposa titled this one Murderous Ground and Pound, and I think that just completely captures what happens here. Isaac gets the impressive first round win, which keeps his record clean, still at now 5-0, and his manager reported that night that he did in fact get a UFC contract, so congratulations to Isaac. Moving on to our final event, we're gonna go visit Fury FC 156 in Texas, where we have 2 fights to show you. For the first, we have a flyweight bout between Victor Gonzalez, who has a pretty rough 1-4 record, and he's taking on Eddie Fryer, who has a 1-2 record. So, not the best records ever, but here at Caposa's Corner, we do not let you down, and while the last fight we saw only lasted a minute, well, this one is much quicker.
Oh, that's it. Another big knockout. Wow.
Yeah, just for context, that whole thing happened in just 12 seconds of this fight. Look at the whip of this overhand right from Eddie as it just crushes Gonzalez to the ground, and the ground and pound is the icing on the cake, and this one is over. Eddie evened his record out to 2-2, and while there might be a long road ahead of him, hopefully he can use this momentum off of this win and keep landing some more in his future. For our last fight this week, we have the featherweight main event that has Mateo with a 14-8 record, and a name that's also recognizable as he fought in the UFC back from 2014 to 2016, and his opponent, Jesse Butler, has a 10-4 record. Now, I feel it's only fair to tell you all that this was originally Caposa's KO of the week, but obviously once we saw that head kick, that one took the title. But this one is definitely not a bad one to end the week on.
Yeah. Both guys doing... Oh, there's a big knockout! Oh, my Jesse Butler knocks out Mateo.
Spun his head almost all the way around with the force behind that left hook, and Fullen is down and out for the count. Butler lands this win right at 1.5 minutes into this first round, and man, was it a fantastic one that improves his record to an 11-4, and I can almost guarantee he's still watching this one on repeat at home. Thank you to Caposa for supplying us with our weekly dose of regional violence, so please go show him some support by giving him a follow on his Twitter at Grabaka_Hitman, and you can also show him some support by checking out his Patreon at patreon.com/Caposa. And we want to say a huge thank you to all of these amazing organizations for delivering some amazing fights every single week, and to each and every fighter, winners and losers, and we will see you all on the next video. Peace!